Oh man. Hey folks. I just finished the recovery run. You remember in Bangkok when I was walking down through that neighborhood, that back alleyway, and I was talking about your nervous system. It is so important, folks, that you regulate your nervous system. So we talked about the complexities, or I mentioned complexities. We didn't actually talk about it. I didn't talk about it, but you got your parasympathetic and sympathetic, right? Your sympathetic, I need to get the derivation of that word for this in this case, but sympathetic, not sympathetic as in I have sympathy for someone. That may be the root. I'll have to find that out for you. But in the nervous system, the sympathetic is where you are like ready to pounce, on high alert. That's not good. That's where you don't want to be. So you want your parasympathetic nervous system to be in that mode most of the time, if not all the time. Of course, it can't be all the time because you got so many different things that are happening in one's life. So after my recovery run, I decided, let me come over here, sit down, and catch you guys up to speed on what's going on for the rest of the trip. So for the rest of the trip, today is Sunday. I already got this little workout in, done. That was important for me, especially after last night. If you guys saw the videos from last night, that was pretty active. That was what you see, the omnivert, right? So that was the extroverted side. This mode is more into the introverted side. So like I said, it's extremes for omniverts. We are totally introverted, isolated, no contact, extremely extroverted, outgoing. You saw, and that was a perfect example. Perfect example. Me walking back from the jazz bar, walking back to my hotel, walking down a sidewalk. I was recording it because I wanted you guys to see what the activity for the night because of the holiday here in China. And young lady is coming my way. I was actually looking at my Google Maps, and she said, when she was passing, she said something. I don't know whether it was either hello or in Chinese, ni hao. So I said, as she passed, I said ni hao. You can hear it. You can actually hear it on tape because I had my mic on. I had my mic on because I was recording, the footage. Thank goodness I caught it for you guys. That was a perfect example of what we're talking about, extroverted. So she walks by, she says something, and then I said ni hao because I'm assuming she didn't speak English, right? Because so far I hadn't run into anybody that didn't speak English very, very, very well, and that's okay. I'm in China, as I've been saying. So I said ni hao instinctively because I'm figuring she was just speaking Chinese and maybe said something. I don't know, but I don't know. So as she was going, I said ni hao, and as she was going past, she said something else. Right? She said something else, which made me turn. You see me, and I turn, and I say, "Hey, what's up? What's happening?" I can't remember how I said it. What's up? What's happening? Because when I turned, she turned and looked back, and I looked back at her, and then you saw me approach her as though I knew her for 30 years, and that's the extroverted side. That means there's no I can't at this stage in my life. I wasn't like this always now. At this stage in my life, there's no need to be to put on any kind of, it's not being pretentious. I don't, because pretentious comes off as you're being something that you're not. But in those kind of situations where you're meeting somebody for the first time, the first initial time, you try to present a certain way. I'm past that in my life. I'm past that. I'm 60 years old. I'm past that. So I'm going to treat you as though I know you. And that's exactly how I can. And because I'm listening as I watch the tape, watched it back, I'm like, damn, I just picked up like we had just talked like 10 minutes ago. And I asked her, you have WeChat, because she was interested, obviously. She stopped. She said something. She stopped. She looked back. That's very rare, right, for any woman in any walk of life, on any country, to walk past you, say something, you say something, and then it's cool. You kind of keep going in a lot of cases, but in this case, she when I said what's up, what's happening, she stopped, turned around. It's on the tape. She either turned around first, and she turned around, and then I noticed that she turned around, and then I stopped, and I said, what's happening? What's up? What's up? And then there's a whole story after that, which is very long, and I'm going to save that story for when we get back into the brain dump in the kitchen. That's what we'll save it for. So, and then the next scene, because you didn't see all the in-between, because in fact, when she realized that my camera was still on, I wasn't holding it on her, but it was just on, and she saw that it was on, and she said, what is that? And she said, I was recording me walking, you just passed me, it happens to be on. And I said, it's recording, I have a mic on, and I let her know I have a mic on, right? She couldn't see it, it was under my my shirt. So she said, she didn't say it like, Rudy, can you stop it? I said, yeah, sure, yeah, okay. Because, I was in that mode then. Okay, yeah, whatever we got to do, so I stopped it. And we were on our way, you heard in the tape, we were going over to a Starbucks to get a Wi-Fi connection so that we could actually exchange information on WeChat. WeChat is like their, it's not Facebook. It's kind of like their Instagram. Yeah, I'd say kind of like their Instagram, because it's a way for folks to stay in touch without it being all formal and everything. You can kind of chat, get to know each other. Then if it falls out from that, then you can meet, kind of that. And so I was down for that, because that's what one of my ideas was, coming to China, meet people, make contacts, and then when I come back, at least I know I could, somewhere to start, to go out, have some coffee, whatever. And that was my intent. And then it went to a whole nother place. But I'll tell you that whole story when we get in, because she may be watching this, because I gave her my card. I gave her my my social media business. I have 2 business cards. I gave her my social media business card that has Solo International on it. Then I have my other business card with my actual name on it that's more for official type business, right? So anyway, with the next video that you saw was me on the back of a unaliver, one of these electric bikes. And that happened as a result of being with her and then trying to get back to my hotel from where she was staying. Okay, that's a whole story. We'll get into that. Okay, and it turned out that it was me, her, and another woman that owned a shop right on the corner of where her hotel was, and we were all standing there trying to figure out how I'm going to get home, and she wanting to go back with me. Whole nother story. So when it was all said and done, after I put my foot down, And I said, I need to get back. And because we can't get all the stuff to work on my phone, because the traffic was so much that the drivers weren't taking me as a ride because it was only 2 kilometers away and it was traffic. So I said, I'll walk, which was, you saw me doing. That was my intent until I ran into her. And then that a whole hour and a half, 2 hours later, I'm still trying to get back. So anyway, the woman that owned the shop there insisted that I sit down and get a drink. And she was going, and I said, I'm finished drinking for the night. I had that one, tequila in the club soda. She said, have a beer. And then the friend, now my friend, who she's saying, is this your girlfriend? I'm saying, no, I just met her. So insisting that we sit down, I'm like, I'm not going to sit because I'm trying to go, So it was just a thing. It was crazy. And one of those nights like I've been telling you guys about. I love those kind of nights. Hot, humid, but not uncomfortable. It's like the temperature is such that it's the same temperature as your body temperature, okay? So it being the same temperature as your body temperature, you can't feel your body. So it's just like your soul is interacting with the other person's soul, if that makes sense. And it was like that. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. Storybook, movie, could write a movie. So when it was all said and done, the lady that owned the little shop there on the corner, I said, okay, I'll take one of those oranges. She says, I can make a juice out of that orange for you. I said, okay, make a juice for me. She made a juice. And then I drank. No, I didn't drink it. You see in the video, I'm holding it in my hand to get back to the hotel to drink it. Look at that. That's an Airbus. You guys know I'm nerding out. 380. Coming into Shanghai. I'm sitting here because I know the planes are coming over. That's why I'm sitting here, by the way. So anyway, I guess it was her man. He's over across the street. There's just a little residential area. He's across the street, leaning back, taking a nap with his feet up on this unaliver bike. So she yells over to him, come here. He comes over. He's like, and now they're talking in Chinese. So the new friend I have speaks English. The woman that on the corner, she spoke English. This all happening, all this time I ain't running anybody that speaks English. Now in less than, but I told you guys, Shanghai, most of the people, not most, a lot of the people here, especially in the hospitality industry up here, speak English well. So that's 4 people, including the concierge at the hotel, all speak English. So she says to him in Chinese, this gentleman is trying to get back to his hotel. Can you take him on our scooter? Because she said, that's my scooter, my bike. He says, of course, I could see he acknowledged. And then she said to me, is 50 okay? I said, 50 yuan, Chinese dollars. I said, yeah, definitely. I'll just try to get home. And I said, but I don't have a helmet. And I'm like, oh, everything, it's okay. You'll be safe. Now, I've been telling you guys for years, especially what I see in Bangkok, where these guys, Westerners, come over there and ride on these bikes without helmets and all that. And I'm like, I would never do that. And here I am. Now, the only reason I did it is because I've seen how they ride through these neighborhoods like this through here. A lot of them don't have on helmets. Old ladies don't have on helmets, And they said, it's so safe. It'll be okay. I said, I'm pretty big. I said, oh, no problem. So keep in mind, I'm in my new suit. This is the suit that I had made in Thailand. And they told me, the tailor, which is a reputable tailor, that's why I went to Bangkok, to that one place to get this suit. He says, man, you're going to love this suit. He says, because it stretches with you. Sure enough, Now I'm gonna stand up for this. So picture this. Ugh. So here's the bike, and he's on it already, and I'm trying to get on the back. Okay. So instead of me just going up between his back and where the backstop of the bike was, instead of doing this to get over, I did this action and swung my leg all the way around and then got on. Any other suit, that should have went ripped at all seams. Effortless. It flexed all the way and then popped right back into place. So that's definitely worth the investment. I will be getting more stuff made from him. So anyway. Oh boy. Yeah, hey, take your time, man. Take your time. I paused. It's okay. He saw me recording, so I was pausing. He said, "You me shoot through?" I said, "No, you take your time, buddy." That was nice of him. See, people not courteous. Some people just like, I see you record, man. I'm just gonna walk right through your shot. So anyway, and then I got back and I walked up to my front desk and I paid him $100. I paid him $100 for getting me back safely. It was great. The most crazy night. I think I said in a video, I said top 3. It's because I've had so many crazy nights. I'm gonna say top 5. It's right up there though. Right, it's right up there, because it could have, if I had proceeded forward, if I had moved forward with this, it would be number 1. But it's my decision not to take it any further, and so that's why it's just going to be in the top 5. Okay, and I don't know whether you read between the lines of what I just said, but it was my decision. Okay, other guys, I don't want to speak for everybody. Not everybody's like me, but I have restraint and I have discipline. So and I'm always looking the long game, right? I'm always looking at the long game, always, about any situation I get myself in, especially when it comes to socializing. So anyway, so here I am, and I don't know what they call these type of trees here, but when I get up and I'm gonna shoot it around so you can see them, and then I'm gonna show you what I'm facing also. You're going to be like, okay, I see what you're talking about with your nervous system. And then I'm also going to show you what's on either side of me to let you know where I am. So let's do that. I'll see you guys in another video. Take care of yourselves.